So it looks like the Married to Medicine cast shakeup is officially happening. According to our friends over at Carlos King, he's reporting that exclusively that Phaedra Parks is going to be joining the cast of Married to Medicine, and two individuals, Dr. Contessa and Anila, have been fired. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So if you were with us earlier today during our Tuesday takeover, we had this breaking news, but I told you, let me go find out more details about this. And come to find out, it was Carlos King's podcast where this tea was dropped exclusively. As always, you know what we do here. We cite our sources. And honestly, y'all already know I had a headache from earlier. And the fact that I had to listen to this podcast for you so you didn't have to, like the video.
Don't be rude.
I'm sorry, what?
Don't be rude.
I kid, Carlos. I don't kid, Carlos. No, here's the thing. So Carlos, as you know, has a interesting past connected to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. He was the executive producer for many years and in other cities. So he also has tea in regards to production and things like that. He also mentioned this before, many weeks ago, that possibly that Phaedra could return to Bravo, but on Married to Medicine. He also reported that apparently she was approached to return to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Carlos, I don't know why you refuse to mention Candy's name. And he specifically has not mentioned Candy's name because he still has not responded to the accusations that Candy brought against him, which recently came up during their new reality show, SWV and Escape, the Queens of R&B, about him trying to steal her life story with Escape. So he's not even mentioning her name anymore. So he basically says the reason why Phaedra's not returning, obviously we all know why, is because, and I quote, Bravo didn't want to ruffle any feathers over at the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that's part of the reason why, although they would love to bring Phaedra back to Real Housewives of Atlanta, they're not going to have that happen. Carlos also mentions in his podcast, that he would have loved to see the Phaedra and Candy conversation play out on television. And a lot of you always remind me like, well, no. When you think about the serious nature of what Phaedra was accusing Candy of, this goes beyond entertainment. This goes beyond reality TV. And honestly, here I go twerking on the fence. I can see both sides of it. I can see as an audience, well, this played out on the show. Is it so bad that you guys couldn't have a conversation, especially because you used to be once friends? And then maybe possibly it could have continued on. I don't know. But some of you said the show has not been the same since Phaedra has left. I don't know about that. I mean, we definitely had some really great seasons without Phaedra. We still had Nene. I might agree with you guys that the show has not been the same since Nene left. But Nene also, very much like Phaedra, started feeling herself. So, as you already know, when Phaedra returned to the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, we already knew Bravo was trying to figure out a way to bring Phaedra back to the Bravo universe. We also had that one-time appearance of Phaedra on Real Housewives of Dubai. And then there was rumors of her possibly going to that city. I believe those rumors because I really do believe Bravo was trying to figure out where does she fit? How is the audience feeling about her in this particular arena? And then we heard the news that possibly she could be coming to Married to Medicine. Recently, one of the top executives over at NBC Universal and Bravo had mentioned that Married to Medicine was going to get a big cast shakeup. And we were like, okay, what does that mean? Who could be coming? Who could be going? Well, now, according to Carlos, I know everyone's reporting that Phaedra's coming to Married to Medicine. I listened to this podcast a couple of times. Again, like the video, you see what I had to listen to? I listened to the podcast a couple of times, and I don't recall him confirming that she is signed on the dotted line. Even at one point, he mentions if her publicist is smart, they will use this as an opportunity for her. So that says to me that this has not been confirmed. And of course, until you hear from Bravo or Andy Cohen or whoever, this has not been confirmed. So I'm just going to say, reportedly, Phaedra is one step closer to joining the cast of Married to Medicine. So we will revisit what I think about her joining Married to Medicine. Along with this tea Carlos dropped, he also says that there were two people that were let go. One individual did not want to return. I don't believe that. And another individual was fired. He says that Anila was fired and Dr. Contessa did not want to return. I don't know if I believe that, because the last thing that I heard Dr. Heavily talk about was how Dr. Contessa has been trying to find jobs because she's trying to make money. And I don't know if I believe that, but part of me does believe it, because remember, before this last season, her marriage was under a lot of scrutiny. Her own doing, because she brought it to the show, which we can appreciate, because look, for the love of Robin Dixon, not bringing the truth of her relationship to the show. But this last season, she tried to spin it and make it gaslight the audience like we didn't see what happened the season before. But we wouldn't be surprised, because we all said it was like, okay, Dr. Contessa, it's starting to fall flat. You gave us all your truth, and now you are backtracking on that truth and trying to spin a whole different narrative and come up against Dr. Heavenly. So it wouldn't shock me if she's just like, I'm just done with reality TV. This is too much. It's not helping our marriage or our family. And I can see them choosing their family over reality TV. God forbid. If that is the case, Dr. Contessa, or if that's the story you want to tell people, I would go with that, and I would respect that, honestly. But I don't believe that Anila would make that choice, because I think Anila likes the spotlight, even though I don't think she connected with the audience. Although I feel like Dr. Kieran did. I think a lot of people liked him more than they liked her. But after the season, with the whole Toya accusations and the people associating possibly she knew something about the robberies, I think people really turned on her. I'm actually surprised, though, that it was between these two that were leaving the show and not Quad. However, according to Carlos King, there is a friendship, and we've seen this. There is a friendship between Quad and Phaedra. So Quad would be perfect to bring Phaedra onto the show. And a lot of you have seen recently that I think it was Dr. Simone and her husband hanging out with Dr. G and his new fiance. I don't know if they're married yet. So there's rumors that possibly they'll be joining the show. And I'm like, oh, please no. Look, his wife might be really great. She might be really lovely, and she might be great TV. But Dr. G, for me, was always creepy, even when he was married to a Quad. But there is true connections in these groups. So it will be interesting to see what they decide to do this season with replacing Contessa and Anila. So one of the other things that Carlos brings up is that, well, it would make sense for them to let go of these two paychecks in order to bring Phaedra on, because the other part of the story that we reported on several weeks ago when we were first talking about Phaedra joining was part of the reason why she didn't join Real Housewives of Atlanta was because they could not afford her. Based on their budget, they could not afford what she was asking. However, Married to Medicine could, technically. That's all about budgets, y'all. We're not going to get into the budget thing. Every show has a different budget. Every production company has a different budget, and everyone's salaries are very different. Remember, Atlanta's been around for a very long time, top rated, making a lot of money. Married to Medicine has been around for a good amount of time. We don't know how much they're getting paid. They're probably getting paid, but they're probably not getting paid what we see Atlanta getting paid. So Phaedra coming to Married to Medicine. I said this before, and I'm going to say this again. It doesn't feel natural. The one magical thing about Married to Medicine is the fact that it feels natural, and I don't feel like these people are playing things up for television. My biggest issue with Phaedra, especially in recent years, is that she has become a caricature of herself. So all of this, and I know a lot of you got your life with Phaedra, and I think because you missed her, so you didn't mind all of the, oh, yes, oh, yeah, oh, what'd she say? Oh, yes. A lot of you missed that. But imagine an entire season, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 episodes of that. I don't know. And this is called Married to Medicine. Part of the reason why I feel like Quad and her time on the show is up. Although she knows this group, it already feels like she really has no connection to these groups anymore. It felt like very disconnected with her being a part of the cast last season. And I feel like Phaedra and this relationship that she has never really shared, she barely wanted to share an Ultimate Girls Trip. And they're not even married, they're dating. And I can honestly believe that that could be for convenience too. But you don't know until you try it. And I feel as if Married to Medicine is trying to figure out how to elevate. Even though they've been having solid seasons and solid ratings, I feel like they are trying to figure out their mojo again. Because there are shifts that need to happen. I honestly thought the shifts might happen, though, with people like Dr. Simone or Dr. Jackie. I thought maybe one of those folks would be gone. Although some people will say, very much like in Potomac, Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone are sort of the face of Married to Medicine. But I wouldn't be surprised if Phaedra does work out with Married to Medicine if we see one of those OGs depart next season. I know a lot of you have mixed feelings. A lot of you do love Phaedra, but you didn't like what she did on Atlanta, but you're willing maybe to give her another shot with this cast of ladies. And it might work. I'm not going to deny that Phaedra has had quality, classics, shady moments throughout the years that are iconic. But I also feel like in this age of where we are just not getting people being themselves, the last thing that I want to do is add someone that really isn't going to give their truth, live their truth, and just will be there to be a character. We can go watch a scripted show, but if we're watching reality TV, we're looking at least for a glimmer of some reality. So as I said to you before, this news has not been confirmed by Bravo. This is coming from Carlos. As always, I'll be citing my sources in the description of this video. So if you want to go listen to the podcast where he talks about this a possibility of Phaedra coming to Married to Medicine and Dr. Contessa and Anila are out. We shall see. They're supposedly have started filming or will be starting filming very, very soon. So I'm not surprised that this news is coming. But I want to know your thoughts, guys. Let's continue and have a constructive conversation in the comment section. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll